30. Kristen, can you hear all right? Kristen, all right. Mr. Wood's class, can you confirm audio's feeding in fine? Awesome, all right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kellen Adams. I'd like to welcome you to the 35th Annual Employee Reception for USD 413. I want to first start off by saying thank you to everyone that has been able to make it out today, in some cases all the way from another state. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge the following board members who are also in attendance. If they can just wave as I announce their name, that would be great. Heather Guernsey, Ross Hendrickson, and Brad Larue. Many thanks to them for coming out. I want to make a note that in addition to the live stream via YouTube, thank you to Comet Vision, this ceremony will also be recorded and archived onto the USD 413 YouTube channel for future viewing. So thanks again to Mr. Wood's class for making that possible today. Our schedule for the day will begin with our Kansas University 25-year Service Awards. Up next will be the 10, 20, 30, and 40-year Service Awards. This is then followed by the recognition of our retirees from the district, and then we will culminate the presentation with the Deb Cummings Award. I would ask that as each person as it is introduced, that they make their way across the stage after the introduction is complete, so that they can pick up their gift from the district on the table below that will be given out by Mr. Custer. In the case of the retirees, you're going to want to wait until that diatribe is over, as otherwise you'll be standing there in awkwardness staring at the crowd. We would then like to pause for a picture for each person or group before calling up the next individual. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. First up, the University of Kansas School of Education for 25 years of service in public K-12 education. There are 2 recipients this year. Each recipient will be receiving a framed certificate signed by both the Chancellor and Dean of Education. This year, the recipients are Rose Fox, Rose is currently teaching 4th grade at Chanute Elementary School. What's that? Oh, sorry. We can do group. 2, 3, great. And our second award winner is Jennifer Embody. Is Jennifer here today? Oh, I'm sorry. Kathy Martin. Sorry, must have a misprint. Okay, up next is our Years of Service Award at 10, 20, 30, and 40 years. Given at the 10-year increments for years of service specific to our school district. For those at the 10-year award, they will receive a silver apple. Those with 20 years of service will receive a red apple. Those with 30 years of service, a golden apple. And finally, those with 40 years of service, a crystal apple. Each apple then comes with a base and custom engraved nameplate for each recipient. Please note that this year we do not have any 30-year recipients. Now, let's meet those individuals. First, on the 10-year service awards, Bridget Fairchild. Bridget is currently teaching at Chanute Extension Academy. Take one group together. Next up in our 10-year category, Mary Ellen Smedley. Mary Ellen is currently working in the nurse's office at Chanute Elementary School. And our third individual in the 10-year category is Barbara Mogg. Is Barbara here today? Barbara is currently serving as a custodian at Royster Middle School. We'll go ahead and take the group now. She's not here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, your 10-year Silver Apple Award winners. We're going to double that time frame now. 20 years of service in the 413. Up first, Kerry Larue. Kerry is currently teaching English language arts at Royster Middle School. Kerry informed me that her position has not left the same room, so in the same room as well for 20 years. And our second is Joel Varndell. Joel here today? Joel is currently teaching physical education at Royster Middle School. Ladies and gentlemen, our 20-year award winners. As mentioned, no one this year qualifies in the 30-year service award, so now we're going to double that yet again. 40 years of service right here in Neosho County in the 413. Ladies and gentlemen, Jean Luther. No, Jean? Okay, we'll make sure that that nice apple gets to her. Jean currently serves as the kitchen manager at Royster Middle School. All right, we're going to shift our focus now to our retirees. We'd like to take some time to honor the 6 retirees from our district this year. Each retiree has spent significant time in the district, and we truly wish to thank them for their years of service with USD 413. Each retiree will receive an engraved plaque, retirement watch, and a lifetime activities pass from USD 413. There's 2 different kinds of plaques, and I'd like to read what each one of those says, if I can. On the teacher plaque, to honor your career in teaching, for dedicating your life to the art and science of teaching, for practicing your profession with compassion and dignity, and for holding the well-being of your students as your primary concern always. For our classified, their plaque reads as follows: to honor your career in education, by word and deed, your presence has enriched the lives of students and has served as an example for all. As I mentioned previously, each retiree has a snippet that has been compiled on their behalf and will be introduced by their direct supervisor or principal. I would encourage, again, each retiree to wait until that principal or supervisor is done reading and then come up at the end for that presentation. So up first is Cheryl Methvin. Cheryl is currently a kindergarten teacher at Chanute Elementary School and has been serving the district for 32 years. She'll be introduced tonight by Principal Eric Hoops.
All right, Cheryl, here goes nothing. Cheryl Methvin has taught kindergarten for 32 years, all of those in Chanute, Kansas. Cheryl started at Hutton Elementary, moved to Lincoln Elementary when all of kindergarten was moved there, and then on to CES at the new building. When I asked Cheryl what her 2 favorite memories in education are, the first was when she was hired during the summer before the start of the school year, and she was grateful to have a job. She realized that things were pretty official when her name appeared on one of the mailboxes in the mailroom. The other thing that Cheryl mentioned was it was very exciting to move into the new building at CES. As Cheryl moves into retirement, she plans to spend as much time with her family as possible and attend as many sporting events as possible. However, Cheryl, you know this speech can't end there because we haven't had any good stories yet. So, I went to the kindergarten team and asked them if they had any stories or any words of wisdom that they could share. Here are just a few. Cheryl's first year of teaching, she wasn't aware there was a grade card. I didn't ask any other details, I left it at that. The second one I remember fairly fondly because the kindergarten team played rec volleyball one year, and Cheryl broke her finger and had to have surgery to fix her finger. The final one might be my favorite from the kindergarten team. One day at recess, she asked the man building the new playground if she could drive the skid steer, because it had always been one of her dreams. The gentleman agreed, and they've never seen Cheryl Methvin happier than she was that day. On a serious note from the kindergarten team, they had these words to share. Cheryl always had the students' best interest at heart and kept it at the forefront throughout her career. She was full of great ideas and had a vast amount of experience and knowledge that helped make our team what it is today. She is a leader to our team in so many ways, and we are going to miss her tremendously in the future. However, Cheryl, we can't end there, because I also had to reach out to a couple other maybe former teachers or people that you've worked with and got a couple other additional stories. The first one was titled The Parking Nazi. Cheryl had certain expectations for the way cars should be parked at Hutton. When pulling in alongside the curb at Hutton in her blue Lumina, should she not have the right amount of space, she would check out who the offender was, search them out in the building, and tell them that she was the queen and she had parking rules to be followed. The next time the offender could find a ticket. An even better story, though, is the story of the lost keys. Cheryl got ready to leave school one day, but was unable to locate her keys. She searched her purse, her desk, around the classroom, no keys. Well, maybe she left them down in the copy room. So she went down to the copy room, no keys. Maybe she left them in the car. Upon going outside and approaching the car, she noticed it was running. The keys had been found. Fortunately, as the car had been running since she got out of it that morning, she had had a full tank of gas and it was not out of gas and good to go home. Cheryl, we can talk later about who told those stories. On a serious note, Cheryl, thank you for your 32 years of service to kindergarten students in Chanute, Kansas. You will certainly be missed at CES, and we wish you the best as you move forward into retirement.
I would like to say that none of that is true. Unfortunately, I can't, but they did elaborate a little bit. One of the things that I've learned throughout these years is to never say never, because teaching was never in my vocabulary. This is not the profession I chose for me, but when God has a plan and life happens, then you just follow along. So here I am 32 years later. I can often think about throughout the years thinking God really does have a sense of humor, because I would be thinking, are you sure? Are you sure this is what you wanted me to do? Because some days were really difficult, even though there was so much fun involved. My dad told me once to love what you do and it won't be just a job, and he was so true. I've been blessed beyond measure with the people I've met, parents, students, colleagues. Everyone has been so gracious in their guidance for me. Teaching has taught me just as much, I hope, as I have taught my kids about friendship, love, and forgiveness. I've experienced a child losing his mother to cancer. I've experienced kids being taken from their home for their safety and well-being. And I've listened to many stories about the death of a beloved pet. All of those experiences just make you a stronger person. I've also had the experience of listening to a child telling me about the birth of a sibling, losing their first tooth, writing their name for the first time. I will treasure all of these life lessons, and I'm so thankful for what I have been given. I think the hardest part about retiring is not being able to visit the dollar spot at Target and finding treasures for my class. Thanks.
Congratulations to Cheryl. We wish you well in retirement. Our second retiree tonight is Jan Rogers. She is the Director of Instrumental Music at both Royster Middle School and Chanute High School, and this marks her 4th year in Chanute. Introducing her tonight is Royster Middle School Principal Don Epps.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be able to honor such an incredible person. You know, when we talk, me and Jan's talked for many, many hours over the past 4 years, and she's become one of my best friends. And one thing that we talk a lot about is what you want to be remembered for, because I always talk about legacy. And when kids look back and they think back to their experiences in music education and being a part of the band, and thinking of Mrs. Rogers in particular, she wants them just to think and to feel that she cared for them, she cared about them. And there is nothing more powerful than that. She wants them to have a lifelong love for music, have music a part of their heart, and music can always heal. It was a couple years ago, she encouraged me to start playing the saxophone again. It was her. She encouraged me, and she coached me like I was in her band program. And I was going to step up. I'm just telling you right now, I was going to step up. And one of the greatest honors I had was to be able to step in and play with her band from time to time. But I'm just one person who's been moved by her and her power and her vision and her passion for music. This is some accounts of just a handful of some of the incredible kids that she's impacted over the years. This is the first one. Mrs. Rogers was truly one of the most important mentors in my life. Eli Peck, a former student. Mrs. Rogers held us accountable, whether it was for our attitude or being late to the field for marching band practice. She had good discipline and structure. Band was my safe place, safe space, and really helped me come out of my shell. She helped me work through my anxiety to where I gained confidence to try out for drum major. Band was my reason to come to school, and she helped me find other ways to stay active in band after high school, such as the summer community band in Indy. That was from Becky Raymond, a former student. Next, I had Mrs. Rogers for my 5th through 7th grade years before her move to Chanute. I came in as a brand new band member, never playing an instrument. I had a clarinet in hand. The longer I played, the more I loved Mrs. Rogers and hated the clarinet. One day she handed me a bass clarinet and she said, "Try this." The rest is history. The closer I get to graduating next year, I've been offered a couple different scholarships for band. I can't help to feel that I owe this all to Mrs. Rogers. Thank you for always being there for me and believing in me. You have forever placed music in my heart. I love you. Ashton DeWitt, a former student. Another amazing account is I have known Jan for 20 years, and I've always looked up to her as such a great band director and friend and mentor. I have also played under her direction in the Mid-Continent Band, and she has directed the Neil musicals, and she's always prepared and organized and knew exactly what she wanted. I hope sincerely that she enjoys retirement, and I hope she knows she left Neodesha and Chanute with great band programs. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her at the KBA and the KMEA functions. Aaron Shelton, Director of Bands at Independent Schools. This one's extra special. Jan Rogers has been and continues to be one of my greatest friends and mentors. I had the privilege of having her as my teacher for the last 20 years. I've had the honor of teaching alongside her for the last 3 years. Jan took me from a scattered brain 5th grade student who couldn't remember to turn in their practice sheets into an all-state flutist who would grow up to become a band director. She taught me that hard work always pays off, and being brave enough to stand up for what is right and always continue to be right. I still learn new things about being a better teacher in person from her each day. If I'm half the teacher she is someday, I will consider myself lucky. That's from Mary Wagner. Guys, there are so many lives that she's reached, and she will continue to reach, because the students that she had will continue to impact other students and more and go on for generations. This is a legacy that'll live on forever. One of the greatest thrills that she had this past couple months was helping organize a community concert here at Chanute High School. And seeing the look in all the community members' faces when they got that feeling back, when they played that saxophone or that trumpet or that trombone for the first time in years, or we got to play in a band. It's like being a part of a family. Music helps us relieve stress. It helps heal the soul. And music is that universal language you can take anywhere. And that's the kind of impact that she's had. It don't matter if it's for weddings, funeral, graduations, it's a part of our life. And that's something that I think is so powerful. What I see in Jan every day as a principal is the high expectations she has for her students. It's second to none. Jan believes in the very best in her students. If every kid had people in their life that believed in them that much and had that high expectations, this world would be a better place. She expected a top performance from each student every day because that's what they deserved, and that's what she got out of them. And it's been such a joy watching that and watching how the attitudes and maturity level, because once again, a 6th grade band can be pretty immature. I've listened to a lot of 6th grade bands, guys. It's not been pleasant other places, okay? I've been other places, and I had to wear earplugs. Our 6th grade bands would transform in just the shortest amount of time, from August to December, into this beautiful ensemble. And I always loved the first time when all 3 6th grade bands play together the first time, and how magical that is, and that light bulb that goes off. And it's just something I look forward to. I can't even imagine what the kids felt. It gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it. And then listening to that when it all comes together. We talked about this. The 7th and 8th grade band had that moment a couple weeks ago, right before they performed here, that the day before they were all practicing together in the band room, and I wanted to put it on Facebook Live to show them off, and the kids' confidence was through the roof, because it's that light bulb. It came together, and that's what we all want in life. You know, talking about what she'll miss working with kids every day, and or at least some kids. I'm teasing, some kids. There's always a few, but anyway, she'll miss working with kids every day. She'll miss the expression, how they express themselves through their music, how everything will come together, and how they feel like be part of something bigger than themselves. You know, Jane, you deserve some time to be able to do some things that you want to do in terms of your grandkids, 9 grandkids, 5 children, and there's a lot of stuff that you've missed because you do stuff bigger than yourself for the school and for the kids you serve. And so, like my dad has always said when asked about retirement, he says, "I'm not retired. I just don't do anything I don't want to do." So, Jan, let's go do what you want to do right now. Let's go give her a big round of applause, and please come forward, Jan.
all I want to say is Don said it all. He's such a great administrator and so supportive and helpful over the last 4 years. It's been a pleasure to work with him and see the changes and the joy he's brought to the kids at the middle school. And I couldn't have asked for a better person to be with and work with. So thank you to Don, and well, thank you all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mrs. Rogers. Okay, up next is Tracy Russell. Tracy is currently serving as Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. This marks her 3rd year in the district, and in somewhat awkward fashion, I will be introducing myself as the introducer. So I'll take off the hat of MC and put on that. You have to realize when I introduce people, I don't ask them for any content. Rather, I curate it from other family members. So I firmly believe in a full roast. So let's get started. Tracy Russell is certainly no stranger to education, and really, if you think about it, is not a stranger to Chanute. While she did grow up here, she then left to pursue a lifetime career in public service. She's ultimately then returned to her alma mater for her capstone experience in K-12 education. Rest assured, though, ladies and gentlemen, there's never a moment lacking in humor or often sarcasm with Mrs. Russell. And while she might be short on the time she has left here in USD 413, she is long on the time that she has for funny stories, jokes, and otherwise humor to lighten your day. Tracy has provided for district-level leadership for the Teaching and Learning Department over the last 3 years. 3 years that could arguably be characterized as the most rapid change in instructional delivery that K-12 has ever experienced. And yet, she has continued to find a way to keep the department evolving to meet the needs of over 1,800 students and 125 certified staff. Whether it be through the rapid pace that is now required due to technology, or our desire to improve outcomes for the underserved, Tracy has proven to have an impact that cannot be overshadowed. But I think I would probably be remiss if I didn't take the time to highlight some of the other characteristics that make her the leader that she is. While there are several, I do wish to highlight just a few. There are 3 tonight. The first of which is consistency. It's been reported that Mrs. Russell, while serving as a teacher, had what was known as the problem of the week. However, here's the problem. It continued to occur every single week, often making her 8th graders cry. The thought of the week, the problem of the week, often seemed like the problem of the century. The second would be fairness. From time to time in life, we're faced with decisions that can adversely or favorably affect those around us. That is certainly the case in education, especially as we often get the chance to work with our own children. Some of those children are in the audience this evening. However, rest assured that Mrs. Russell has been enabled to embody fairness her entire career. This was exemplified when she gave her own daughter the very first B of her life. I believe she's in our audience here tonight, yes. And finally, tenacity. The final trait I wish to share with you about Tracy, and arguably the most important. She does not give up and does not give in without a fight. She's committed to her students, her staff, or whoever is serving at the time and willing to fight for them. In fact, one particular instance, after being invited to no longer attend a softball game, she decides to go out into the parking lot, change what she's wearing, change her hairdo, and try to make re-entry into the same game, just under a different disguise of clothing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the type of person who has and always displays tenacity. On a more serious note, I want to say truly thank you to Tracy for the last 3 years of service to our district, as well as the last several to the profession of K-12 education. There have been many laughs, a few tears, and perhaps a couple of choice words from Matt and Tracy from time to time, but I believe she truly has made our district better and moved the needle forward for USD 413. My hat is off to you, Tracy Russell. Thank you for your time and service to our district, and we wish you the best as you move forward with the next chapter of your life.
she earned the B. She wasn't given the B. She earned the B. Well, I know what you all are thinking. How can she possibly be old enough to retire? Well, I figured after 19 proms, being in perpetual high school, just, I think, 25 plus graduations, and now new teacher applicants are born in the year 2000. I figured it's time. So, all joking aside, man, 30 years in education. A lot has changed, a lot has stayed the same. But in all, it's been an incredible ride, a journey, an adventure. Let's just say the last 30 years, what an opportunity. I'm honored to have returned to Chanute and served my last 3 years in education for the Chanute Public Schools. I can say that I have served alongside an incredible team of administrators here in Chanute. Even though we ended up making national news, I think that was our second year, maybe that was our first. And were the articles, we were in the newspaper more times in the past 3 years than in my first 27 years. Really, I've been truly honored to work with all of you. This amazing administrative team definitely has students first, and I want you to know that a lot of the behind-the-scene things that they do, worry, try to think of solutions, they have your back. I'm also very humbled by the staff that I've gotten the chance to work with. It's been an extreme privilege to work with you. You're such an inspiration to me, and I know Chanute students are in great hands with you. I want to sincerely thank you for welcoming me to the Chanute Public Schools and allowing me to come home to Chanute. But let's be real here. Next year, while you're in pre-service and DLT and PLC and IEPs and KISA and all those other acronyms that we use in education, Cheryl and I are going to be lounging in our pajamas, drinking coffee on the beach, maybe, or maybe lounging in our pajamas on the beach, not sure. Or we might be sipping tea. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the most important people in my life, and that's my family. Jeff, thanks for putting up with me. The late nights, the interrupted weekends, going to school events with me that you dearly loved sometimes, and allowing me to be attached to my phone 24/7. And my 3 kids, Satin Wigger, Jarek Maring, if he's watching, or I'm not sure, he works for another school district, and Jansen Hall. I want to thank you for allowing me to be a mom, a teacher, a coach, and an administrator. Over the past 30 years, I know it's not been easy. It's never easy having a mom in education or a dad, especially when you are a coach or an administrator. I think you guys know what I mean. If you're in education and you're an administrator or you coach long hours, you know it takes away from your family. It takes a lot of time away from your family. So I'm sorry I missed some of your activities and important milestones over the year, but I think we got through it, and I think we are going to be able to get through it, especially when I come and live with you. We will make up the time when I'm old. So I want to leave you with one thing. Most of you have probably heard this story, but it continues to always be one of my reminders of why we do what we do. So I want to leave you with this. One day a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking up something and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "What are you doing?" The youth replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll die." "Son," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it back into the surf. Then, smiling at the man, he said, "I made a difference for that one. I can only hope I made a difference for one. And I want you, as my wish, to continue to make that difference for just that one every day. Thank you."
Congratulations, Mrs. Russell. Okay, our fourth retiree tonight, also from the Education Support Center, none other than Kathleen Stanley. Yes. Kathy, either one, is currently serving as the District Administrative Assistant and is currently finishing her 29th year. And I have the honor of introducing Kathy. Kathy is certainly no stranger to Chanute or to USD 413. Believe it or not, this June, as I just said, will wrap up the 29th year of service for her. I trust that if you're in this room, you've had the pleasure of working with her in some capacity as she serves numerous people within our organization within her role. Now, before I tell you about all the amazing things that will be left behind by Kathy's vacancy, I think it's only appropriate to share with you just a few memories from her friends and coworkers. After all, she is one of the kindest people I know, and I mean that. So what better way to treat a kind person than to roast them publicly? So Kathy, where do we start? Well, as you all know, Kathy has that brand new ride out there that she received back in the fall. Thank you, Kevin. Excellent. And she is so darn proud of that beautiful vehicle. But what if some of the other vehicles that Kathy's had could talk? What would they say? Story number one. One time, Kathy happened to be losing her keys. It's somewhat of a habit, you might say. She has a frequency of doing this from time to time, at least as reported by others. She happens to be at Lincoln, was running errands, and after placing a box on the top of her car, she comes back into the office, attempting to backtrack to find said keys. So what do her coworkers do out of pure love? Some of them might be right behind her right now. They decide to distract Kathy while Pat Somerville takes the car from the east side of Lincoln to the west. Because after all, the misplaced keys are not indeed misplaced. Then, in this nefarious scheme, Terry Jo Markham decides to put said misplaced keys in a strategic place where Kathy can find them just moments later. After which, she just proceeds out into the parking lot looking for her lost vehicle that's now on the other side of the school. Reports indicate that you could tell by her face that something was off, but she went ahead and just proceeded on as she always does. In another instance, while running errands again, are you seeing a trend here, friends? She comes back to the board office just after the completion of the tasks and returns for a productive afternoon. Mind you, the errands were ran just after lunch. When it came time to leave for the day, her and Jamie are walking out, sharing pleasantries. And Jamie says, "Oh, Kathy, I bet your car is nice and warm." And then Jamie indicates that Kathy's car has been running. Kathy then indicates, "My car has been running since 11:30 this morning." And finally, this one is my personal favorite. So, Tamara Slane, are you in the room yet? I heard this my first year, and I have not let this one go. All right. So yes, you already guessed it. Kathy's out driving around, serving the district. But this time, not errands, okay? This time, rather, it's to wash her prized beauty, okay? Again, she takes pride in her cars, and we know that. So she proceeds to the South Side Car Wash. No forgotten keys this time. Kathy knows exactly where they are. She knows exactly what the car is doing because she's squarely behind the wheel. And she pays her $10 and proceeds into the soft touch side of the wash. However, a gentleman had just completed a fishing trip and exited right before her. What transpired, ladies and gentlemen, over the course of the next 7 minutes can only be described as a violent and consistent whipping every 5 to 7 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. You'll see what happened was the gentleman before her had his fishing pole picked up and permanently lodged into the bristles of that soft touch car wash. And so as it came by, it proceeded to whip her car over and again. Oh, Kathy, the situations that you find yourself in, they are literally priceless. Okay, on a more serious note, ladies and gentlemen, we are all going to be lost, and I want to emphasize lost, without the woman who is constantly pouring her heart and her soul into every task that she is doing. She's often thinking of it before you even do. Kathy, you are dedicated, kind, humble, and just otherwise willing to roll your sleeves up, regardless of the task. To be honest, guys, Kathy Stanley is the example to follow for any employee who desires to be at the top of their game. She's made the office and the district a better place and constantly lifts up the people around her in a genuinely, just a good human being. Amen. So Kathy, we wish you and your vehicles all the best as you head into the next chapter of your life. You've made a profound impact on us all, and we love you, and we'll miss you.
Well, I'd planned on saying hi to my family via live stream, and I was surprised when I came today, and most of my family is here. So, but I would like to say hi to my brother Reg and his wife Carrie in Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, guys. It has taken me the entire school year to process and shift the way that I'm thinking about my retirement. I really could have used a 12-step program to get through this. Hi, I'm Kathy Stanley, and I'm a senior citizen. I have just absolutely no interest in reading and learning about Social Security benefits or Medicare or CAPERS or 401k. I'm just not interested in it. And somebody's about to move my cheese, and I am just not happy about it, but and I have just so enjoyed this phase of my life in which USD 413 has been the background of my life's canvas. All the joys and heartaches and happiness and sorrow have just blended together and created a masterpiece that I'm proud of. I have 18 more days, and I'm going to cherish every one of them. And then it'll be time to go back to the drawing board. I am truly grateful for the opportunity USD 413 has afforded me. I appreciate the benefits and the health insurance and the sick days. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you for letting me support you. I am humbled and honored to be part of this life-changing organization that always keeps students first. Thanks.
Congratulations, Kathy. Okay, our fifth retiree this evening is Karen Valeere. Karen is currently serving at CES as a Title I instructor and is marked as her 23rd year. Introducing her tonight, CES Principal Eric Hoops.
All right, Karen, you know I worked long and hard on this and checked with several resources before putting this together. So, Karen Valeera spent 33 total years in education. She's taught everything from first grade to second grade to fifth grade, elementary and secondary special education, as well as Title I reading. Karen had a couple of favorite memories of her time at CES. One is our One School, One Book program, and I will tell you that we have an incredible One School, One Book program at CES, and a lot of it is thanks to Mrs. Valeere. But specifically, she remembers, I'm just trying to envision this, Mr. Wheeler riding a scooter down the halls for Mouse and the Motorcycle, and the other fun that we had implementing each book and the special activities that went along with it. The second thing that is a favorite memory of hers, and I'm sure that she is the most proud of, is watching kids grow from beginning readers to real readers when they left her classroom. As Karen moves into retirement, she plans to spend more time with grandchildren and family, as well as enjoy the flexibility to go when she wants. I don't believe, Russ, you were included in that. Travel and just relax. When I asked Ashley Osmus for a favorite memory of Karen, she shared this memory. Karen refutes this story. She says it did not happen. There is no truth to this. But supposed story is there's a time when Karen wore 2 different shoes to school at Hutton. Again, Karen doesn't agree with that story, and there's many people that go back and forth as to different colors, different types, different something, but maybe one of these days we'll find out what that true story is. On a serious note, Ashley had these words to share. Karen always had the best advice on what is best for kids. I always knew my kids were in the best of hands with her. Karen supported all the teachers on the team. She was who we turned to when we needed knowledge about how to best help with reading skills for our students. She cares for students and is ready to share their successes. Kelly Cunningham, who worked as an aide in the classroom and is now CES secretary, had these things to share about Karen. We did share plenty of laughs, especially when reading a story to first graders, and Karen had a slip of the tongue, and a word was mispronounced. She got to where she wouldn't even look at me because she knew I couldn't keep a straight face anymore. Along with lots of laughs, we shared some tears too, as who would have known that we would lose our dads within 1 month of each other. I am glad that we had each other to lean on during that time. It was a pleasure to work with her, and I am honored and blessed to call her my friend. And finally, CES Assistant Principal Brooke Wire had these things to share. It was an absolute pleasure working with and learning from Karen during my years in first grade. She's an expert in what she does and provides a wealth of knowledge to her team. She is a definite asset and has left her mark on many students and colleagues. I had always known Karen as I grew up with her daughter, and we spent a lot of time together. While working together with her in the first grade hallway, I felt that Karen and I had a chance to become great friends as well. She will be greatly missed at CES. Mrs. Karen Valeere, thank you for your 33 years of education. We know that many students were positively impacted by working with you. We wish you the best of luck as you move into retirement.
No speech. I just want to say thank you, God bless, and my shoes match.
All right, congratulations, Mrs. Valeere. I do not believe our sixth and final retiree is here tonight, but I do certainly want to take some time to honor him. His name is Wilbur Van Winkle. Wilbur currently serves as a bus driver and has served in the district for a total of 9 years. So let's congratulate Wilbur, even though he can't be with us. All right, folks, we're going to put a bow on this thing, but before we do, this one's kind of the capstone, if you would. It is the Deborah Cummings Award. It's that thing under that sheet right now. And honestly, I think it's something that most would like to achieve and work to achieve. Our final presentation for today is one that is very special and meaningful to our district, the Deborah Cummings Award. But I'd like to first start off by telling you a little bit about Deborah Cummings. Deborah, or Debbie Cummings, worked for USD 413 for over 22 years. She started in the kitchen at Hutton Elementary School and became the cashier, later working her way up to her final position with the district, which was as the kitchen manager at Chanute Elementary School. She was a friendly face to all, students, staff, and her crew. She took great pride in feeding the students of Chanute and was very dedicated to her craft. She firmly believed that her students' first attitude needed to be embodied by her staff as well. As I understand it, and has been reported, if she did not feel an applicant would have a student's first attitude, they would simply not be part of her staff, period. In the last year of Debbie's career, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. The illness took a toll, but she never wanted to quit coming to work. And so after a hospital stay, she went to half days so that she could still see her kids daily. Her dedication was very admirable and appreciated by many. That attitude is what inspired the creation of the Deborah Cummings Award. Ladies and gentlemen, this award goes to any USD 413 employee, regardless of their position, who display the qualities that Debbie embodied while she was a part of the Chanute School District family. A nominee should at a minimum be a person who exhibits all the qualities that good employees should have: strong work ethic, genuine care for students, a good coworker, positive attitude, a desire to improve the district, helpful, supportive, the list goes on. I think you get the idea. As you can see, this award is very special and very prestigious and does not simply go to anyone. With that said, we are honored to present this award to a long-standing staple within our district. In fact, this employee has worked for USD 413 for 29 years. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 Deb Cummings Award winner is none other than Kathleen Stanley.
And thank you so much.
We love you.
Congratulations, Kathy. You can just take it with you if you want. Kevin, you're going to need to find somewhere else to sleep tonight. Alrighty, friends, this is just one more reminder that today's presentation will be archived on the USD 413 YouTube channel. I want to say once again thank you to Comet Vision and those students and staff for making that possible. On behalf of the Board of Education and administration of the district, I wish to say thank you to all who are recognized today. We are aware, but we will never fully understand the sacrifice that each of you has made in your personal and professional lives in order to provide the years of service that you have been here in USD 413. Our students and staff are better because of each one of you. Many thanks for all you have done, and we wish you well as you move into the summer and/or the next stage in your life. Thank you all so much for taking the time to tune in or be in attendance today to support your family members or colleagues. We know that that means a lot to them, especially those of you that drove from Denver, Colorado. If you are able, please take time to join us in the Commons area for the refreshments that are being served immediately afterwards. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and as always, students first.